Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and I wanted to talk to you about a horror comedy, slasher, dark comedy, dark humor movie called House of the Long Shadows. Now, I'm gonna give it a score. So the score is 6.2 on IMDb, which is big. I'm giving it a 5.5. There are things that I just didn't like. You've got a resume of actors. Now the main character is a guy called Mon Sir Sir Desi Arnaz Jr. Never heard of him. He's called Kenneth McGee in the movie. He's a writer. You also have a woman named Marty Norton. He's Kenneth's publisher's assistant. Also never heard of her. But here comes the list of all famous actors of the 60s and 70s. You've got Vincent Price as Lionel Grisbane. So you've got Christopher Lee as Corrigan. You've got Peter Cushing from Star Wars, of course, at this time. You may fire when ready. In the Death Star. As Sebastian Grisbane. You got John Carradine as Lord Grisbane, and then Sheila Keith, who I said if you really I reviewed that movie. It's a slasher movie, really bloody, frightener from the 70s. I reviewed that fucking movie. I can't say more than enough. Sheila Keith plays such a creepy lady. She almost looks like a guy. It's creepy, creepy, creepy. Give it a try. Give it a look if you didn't see it. Now the Grisbanes have this manor, this giant manor, and the writer said, "I gonna make a bet with you with the publisher. I'm gonna make a book for you, a good book, within 24 hours, and let's make a deal, $20,000." I say, okay, no problem. He goes to a mansion. He wants to be in absolute quiet. He can type away with a candle. He just doesn't want to be disrupted in the middle of fucking nowhere. He goes to the Grisbane Manor. Now, apparently, at some point, you see Sheila Keith and John Carradine appear, and okay, they're the caretakers, and he's the owner. She's a caretaker, and he's the owner. And they're like, okay, he says, I just wanna be in my room and type, you know, at ease. I want to be at ease. I just want to be tranquil to make my book. Then at some point, Peter Vincent arrives and he starts to do poetry, and his but that voice he has is that's supposed to be the comedy part. And then Peter Cushing arrives too as one of the family members, and apparently it's a day that all the family members arrive together. So Fraser Price, Peter Cushing, John Carradine, Sheila Keith, and then at some point Christopher Lee arrives, Corrigan. He saw that there was light at the windows of the mansion, and he said, I want to perk up, I want to buy this mansion. And he says, so I want you all out of here. I'm gonna give it cash. I want you all out of here. And listen to Kenneth says, listen to the guy. I just want to be here one night to write my book, and this and this and that. And the family is there because there's somebody in the tower locked up for 40 years because he apparently took a townsgirl to that tower and sliced her completely open and took her entrails out. Okay? Now, he said, I heard that too. And then Christopher Lee says, How, are you crazy? Holding a person for 40 years in a tower like that? And he goes upstairs, and they all say, no, you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know. He opens the door, nobody's there. Apparently, are they making things up? You don't know. They're all twists of left and right, and at some point you think, okay, the killer, the family member that was in the tower, is loose in the mansion, and everybody's getting killed one by one. You've got even a little bit of blood. An axe kill. You've got a little blood. And so, spoiler alert. So, and also Maggie Norton, sorry, the assistant, is there to warn him about grave danger, because at some point also two people arrived that were in a train station, and the train didn't come, and they came to this mansion to be dry and maybe can stay for the night. They also get killed. Maggie gets killed. At some point, it's apparently Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee is apparently the boy who was put in the attic for 40 years long. He knew how to escape, and he knew how to just live a normal life and then come back again, sleep there, and let them know he's still up there, and then go back to the window just by opening the window with a cord and going back. Okay. I think if you want to close, if you want to close a cycle like that, you should not give him a window to crawl out. But okay, then he starts to kill everybody with an axe, and at some point the door opens. Surprise! So these are the spoilers. Everybody's still alive. It's like April Fool's Day. It's a slasher movie that I think I reviewed yet, or I'm gonna review yet. Sorry, I'll spoil that too. They're all alive. It's a prank. And the couple that came from the bus station, apparently the guy is Maggie Norton's husband, and Kenneth was falling in love with her, so that was also a prank. And then everything goes to black, and you see Kenneth typing away, putting his book in a binder and running away. And everything that happened there didn't happen. All those people didn't happen. It was just his story, apparently. So the story that Kenneth wrote was a story about this group of people that owned the mansion and that had a killer family member, and apparently it was all a surprise, a twist ending, and that was his book. So he goes to the publisher, he gets his money. Then we see Maggie again, but she's not called Maggie Norton. She's now called Maggie something else. but she's not married, so now he wants to take her out for a drink. And before he goes out of the restaurant, he sees Peter Vincent waiting the table. It's so left, right, everywhere. It's is which reality is real? It's like the Twilight Zone. Which reality is real? I don't know. Was the movie fun? Yeah. The setting, the set piece was good. The creepy mansion was good. Seeing all these alumni of horror movies like Peter Cushing, Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, uh, Sheila Keith. I mean, that was a good sight to be seen. I mean, it was fun. It's probably one of their last movies, 1983. Chris, Peter Cushing, you may fire when ready. I mean, still remember that line from Star Wars: A New Hope when he destroys Princess Leia's planet. Also, Peter Cushing, fun fact, was asked by John Carpenter to play the role. The first person he contacted to play the role of Dr. Loomis, Dr. fucking Loomis. And you know what he did? He scoffed at it. He said, that movie's too low for me. But he would have get 20 grand for that movie. Are you saying that his Hammer horror movies that he did that were more scoffed on about, that he earned more than 20 grand for those movies? No fucking way. No fucking way. In the olden days, $10,000 was a big budget. So 20,000 was a good budget, I think so. And Christopher Lee was asked as the second one to play Dr. Loomis. But he didn't want to do it. And later he regretted it. But it's good because Christopher Lee is an extremely tall man, and you know Saruman, he's tall, and he would stand over Michael Myers. You have to get a guy, a Michael Myers that it's at least a head taller than him. That wouldn't work. Donald Pleasance is the best choice they went with. Donald Pleasance was already, of course, famous from James Bond movie. I think Dr. Evil from Austin Powers was based on his persona in the James Bond movies. He had that white cat on his lap, and yeah. And I believe another horror movie that plays in London. I saw that movie, but can't remember him. He's a police detective and he has to solve murders about people getting a slasher movie, slasher horror movie, creature, yeah, slasher horror movie that's basically that plays in the metro systems of London. So he already has a resume, and so 20,000 grand went to Loomis. So Peter Cushing scoffing on it. Jesus fucking Christ. He wouldn't got 220 grand for this movie too. I can't guarantee you that. In any case, it's like I said, good set piece, good story before everything is a joke apparently, and then that joke isn't real too. That's the thing that's get writing, and then we get back to the restaurant, and then we see Vincent Price. So something is wrong there. So it's going from left to right, above, and going every places, right? It's going everywhere, the story. But like I said, seeing the alumni being slashed away one by one is cool. The acting was good because these guys know how to act. These are people who are being acting from the 60s or the 50s. So House of the Shadows 1983 gets a 5.5 for me. A little less what IMDb gives it, 6.2. Because there wasn't any comedy in there. There wasn't any comedy in there, but it was horror in there. So check it out. Share your thoughts. Subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.